And now what if we want to shift the index of the summation? So for example, we have the summation of j equals 1 to 5 of j squared. And we want that instead of j equals 1 to 5, so as you can see here, the lower limit is 1 and the upper limit is 5, right? So this will be basically equivalent to 1 squared plus 2 squared plus 3 squared until 5 squared, okay? So, but what we actually want to do is to shift the indices rather than the lower limit and upper limit as 1 to 5, we want the j to be 0 to 4. So we are shifting the index of the summation by 1. Okay, so if we have j as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and k as 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, so k would be basically equivalent to j minus 1, or we simply subtracting 1 to each of the value of j. Okay, so we then have this equivalent. So we have the sum of j equals 1 to 5, j squared. That will be equal to the summation of k is equal to 0 to 4 of k plus 1 quantity squared. All right. So what we did here is to simply use algebraic concept here, wherein since k is equal to j minus 1, so transposing 1 to the other side, so j will be equal to k plus 1. Okay, so we then have the summation of k is equal to 0 to 4 of k plus 1 quantity squared. So after doing the transposition, and j is equal to now to k plus 1, so we simply replace that here. Okay, so we simply replace the new value of j here. So we arrive to k plus 1 quantity squared. Okay, now consider another example here. So we have this following summation. The sum of j equals 0 to 3 of 2j. So we want to change the index, or shift the index, change summation to run between 1 to 4 instead of 0 to 3. So again, we are shifting the index of the summation by 1. Okay, so initially j is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. And we want to shift it to 1 to 4. So j is basically just, k is basically just equal to j plus 1. Okay, so we are simply adding 1 to the value of j. Now, if we have this original summation, the sum of j equals 0 to 3 of 2j, so it will be equivalent to the summation of k is equal to 1 to 4 of 2 times k minus 1. So how did we arrive to this equation? So as you can see, from 0 to 3, we have now shifted the indices to 1 to 4. So how did we arrive to 2 times k minus 1? So we know that k is equal to j plus 1. Okay, so using algebra or simple algebra, we simply equate this into k minus 1, transpose 1 to the other side. So in order to get the value of j, and we simply replace or substitute that to the original formula, and we have then k minus 1, right?